On the 4th of July 2012, in the conference hall of the European Organization of Nuclear Research, an old man sitting modestly in a corner couldn't hold several drops of tears. That man was Peter Higgs, and just moments before, the conference speaker had announced that Peter's theory had been experimentally proven since its inception in 1964. Back these days, Higgs assumed the existence of microparticles, the so-called God particle from which our universe has grown. After 48 years, Higgs managed to prove he was right. Nobody would argue that creating your own neobank is next to theoretical physics. You, just like Peter Higgs, also intend to build a better future for humanity. But while scientists can wait for decades, your banking app, and its competitors can't. This is Just a Thought podcast brought to you by JatApp, software development agency. In each episode, we discuss various hot topics related to technology, design, software engineering, tech trends, and business and digital transformation. My name is Eugene, and today's Just a Thought is about neobanks. To begin with, let's make sure we are on the same page and define what a neobank is. Neobanks are the banks that don't have any physical branches and function purely online. They offer digital solutions for money transfers, payments, lending, to name a few. Neobanks rely on state-of-the-art technologies such as artificial intelligence to deliver personalized services to their customers. Since they don't have physical branch locations that require maintenance, neobanks don't charge large fees from their clients. But what drives the popularity of neobanks today, really? During the pandemic, traditional banks failed to transform their offline services to digital ones. According to the World Banking Report in 2021, 46% of bank executives confirmed that they lack the expertise to become a truly data-driven company. Many customers just felt that traditional banks could have performed better, given the abundant resources in their disposal. Naturally, clients started to prefer fintech solutions more, which allowed them to perform all banking operations in one place without leaving the comfort of their homes. The disparity between banking services offered by traditional banks and clients' expectations increased over time, giving neobanks a competitive edge. Today, there are 5 business models that modern neobanks adopt to stay profitable. And the first one is interchange-led model. Banks charge a commission every time a client makes a transaction. An infamous American neobank, Chime, is known for adopting this business model. The next model is credit-led. With this model, a neobank relies on credits as a source of its revenue. The profit is generated from balances and the interest rates. Neobank is a good example here. And the next model is ecosystem-led. Under the ecosystem-led model, banks earn money with the help of the application programming interface technology that let various fintech companies integrate in. A popular neobank, N26, gets juicy profits using the ecosystem-led approach. And the next model is asset-led. Neobanks benefit from offering savings accounts and purchasing deposits with competitive rates. And the last, but certainly not the least business model for neobanks is product extension. As the name suggests, the business model focuses on generating revenues from extending the existing product. A couple of years ago, Robinhood introduced a product extension called Robinhood Gold, which provides clients with comprehensive market analysis. The subscription-based model, along with this service, enables the neobank to secure its position in the fintech market. And now the hardest part comes in. Technology under the hood of every neobank. Prepare yourself. We are going to pin it down step by step. In the beginning was the architecture. Neobank technology starts with the architecture of your product because any banking app involves multiple components, platforms, services, and data sources. There are three major elements of Neobank's architecture: hosting infrastructure, core platform, and applications front end. And I would like you to notice that the sequence in which we are going to describe the elements of Neobank architecture is the order you should follow during the development process. So, hosting infrastructure. Once you are going to build your own Neobank, you will need to host it in the cloud. Storing your product in the cloud is convenient as it enables you to develop, test, and release your Neobank app in the agile fashion. While your tech team is working on the next update, the current version of the Neobank app is serving your customers. You have an opportunity to scale your Neobank business on the go without interruptions in revenue earnings. JatApp software engineers, however, highly recommend you to store your Neobank app in a hybrid cloud. The development, testing, and deployment phases should take place in separate repositories of a private cloud, while you can use a public cloud for storing the released version and external integrations. On a side note, I would like to say a couple of words about selecting a cloud provider. The most popular solutions are Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud. Each of these providers has its own advantages, but our DevOps engineers would vote for AWS thanks to availability of various security instruments, which we'll discuss later in this episode. And what comes next? The core platform. This part of your Neobank architecture is mostly open source, since you need to connect core banking services to the external integrations, without which a Neobank doesn't make much sense. So the core platform includes two important sublayers: core banking services and application programming interfaces for third-party integrations. So let's start with core banking services. This sublayer includes services that a conventional bank does: payments, loans, credit card issuing, leasing, customer relationship management, account and branch creation, corporate clients connection, and so on. You have two ways to establish core banking services within your Neobank: develop them from scratch or use a so-called banking as a service. When you develop core banking services from scratch, you own the process entirely. You can plan scaling your Neobank accordingly, tweak the services during the development process, and never depend on anyone else. On the other hand, you have to shell out a many digits amounts of money upfront. These costs will include expenses not only for the development, but also for unimaginable legwork related to licensing your Neobank as a real incumbent. But when the dust of development and licensing settles, you'll become a neobank with official bank status that enables you to offer banking services to other fintechs. As for banking as a service, setting up core banking services with on-demand infrastructure is a no-brainer. You don't own the services directly, but you save a lot of money and time, as a banking as a service provider lays banking industry and legal groundwork for you. Banking as a service in fact requires its own story to tell. So let us know down below in the comments whether you would like to hear more about banking as a service in one of our next episodes. JatApp, as a company with 7 years of experience in fintech development, recommends you to opt for banking as a service. Despite all this hype around the disruptive power of neobanks, only several of them are really profitable. That's why dumping money into independent development of core banking services is a big risk that you can avoid. Whatever the approach you opt for, you have to develop core banking as separate microservices, stored in individual data containers. Microservices architecture approaches development of a software as a number of independent blocks called containers, within which a single service is stored. This approach enables you to avoid crashes of the entire layer, in case something goes wrong with any of core banking services. Since microservice containers are connected to each other with HTTP protocol, the entire system keeps working, even though some of the services are down. On top of that, scaling your neobank will be easier with microservice architecture. You won't have to refactor the whole code, but just add up new service containers to the system without making dramatic changes. Well, we are done with core banking services, so let us focus on APIs and external services. In fact, APIs and external services are the second important sublayer of the core platform. The main perk of Neobank is its ability to integrate with various products and services, which attract new customers and help you create unique value propositions for different businesses. Aside from the third-party integrations, like in the case of software as a service, subscription-based streaming platforms, social media, or any product and services, you can use APIs to pull data for advancing your core banking offer, know your customer, KYC tool, extra security, alternative credit scoring, and many others. So far, so good. We have covered the hosting infrastructure and the core platform with its basic banking services and third-party integrations. And the front end comes next. Front end is the last major layer of your neobank architecture, and you have a lot to do here. For starters, you should develop a web version of your neobank, native mobile apps, and integrate your UI UX design with external products. Since we are talking about the front end of your neobank application, we have to stop by UI UX design that plays an important role in the architecture of your product. The matter is that your app is going to operate with people's money and private data, which they really don't want to lose under any circumstances. That is why navigation through the Neobank app should be intuitive and easy to understand, so that your customers would feel comfortable and confident in what they're doing when they interact with your banking app. There are several UI UX solutions that can advance user-friendliness of a Neobank app. But I do encourage you to come up with your own innovative ideas, as the following list isn't ultimate. My goal here is to show what top neobanks gear towards and inspire you to come up with your own creative UI UX design concepts. Let's check what user experiences your app can bring to the table. Chatbots. By creating a chatbot that helps a user navigate through your app or troubleshoot the most common problems, you will ensure that your customers don't get lost in the app and won't take a loan they never intended to. Artificial intelligence. The use of AI creates additional value to your Neobank app. The smart algorithms can provide your users with analytics about spending behavior, savings account, investment prospects, and such. As a result, users can make informed decisions about their savings without even knowing much about how finance works. On top of that, AI is a good weapon for security protection. But this is another story to tell, which we'll touch upon a little bit later. And the next thing is digital identity recognition. Security in banking is an essential part of user experience as well, because your customers want to be sure that their money is safe in your neobank. That is why the use of different digital identity recognition technologies as a part of two-factor authentication are necessary. We don't recommend sticking to just one technology, as people use different mobile devices that may not be supported by this or that software solution. Just make sure you integrate the most prominent solutions like face recognition, fingerprint scanning, eye retina scanning, and voice recognition or natural language processing. And the last UI UX hack is gamification. You may target different types of users, but you won't deny that millennials and Zoomers are the main customers of neobanks, because they've literally grown up with a mobile phone in their hands. Young adults don't trust incumbent organizations, financial institutions in particular. People between 23 to 34 years old may feel confused if not depressed, by dealing with serious white-collar banking. So it's essential to gamify the different user flows inside your Neobank app. Gamification is a process of adding gaming elements into non-gaming products in order to simplify the UX. You can create savings challenges and provide users with digital prizes and rewards, or set different monthly goals, such as buying a particular type of goods. Check Monobank, a Ukrainian neobank that uses a charismatic, hilarious cat as a brand's mascot, and it integrates it with different UI/UX elements across the mobile app. Users can unlock unique cat characters after achieving various goals, like paying with the app for taxi rides or utilities. As soon as you have developed all layers of the architecture, it's time to think about the security of your Neobank app. I can't stress enough the role of data security in banking apps, so excuse me for being too concentrated on that aspect. Your security system must include a chain of customly developed and integrated solutions such as security information and event management, KYC tool, and AWS Lambda toolkit. Speaking about AWS Lambda specifically, you'll need guard duty to detect any high-level incidents, AWS Shield to defend your app from distributed denial-of-service attacks, and AWS Firewall to secure the solution from human error in the source code. Also, you can automate your security measures with artificial intelligence and bots that recognize any suspicious activity within your system. But you need to be careful with overly smart algorithms that act too independently and can react to false positive signs of data breach. Your Neobank requires quality assurance and testing as any other software. But there is a catch. Banking apps are not ordinary digital solutions because they deal with customers' money and private data, which means the testing process is entirely different. The main areas that require special attention are database, security again, business process, and user acceptance. The topic of banking app testing is interesting enough, which is why I suggest you read our article about it. The link is attached in the description. After successful testing, your Neobank is ready for deployment. And this watershed moment of your business. And it requires your DevOps team come into play for setting continuous integration and continuous development pipeline. And again, DevOps is a topic that requires its own episode of our podcast. So if you are interested, just let us know in the comments. To sum up, Neobank technology is indeed complex, which is why dropping a couple of happy tears after your banking app's release is more than fine. But despite the complexity of Neobank technology, JatApp is ready to experience any challenges and happy moments together with you. Our company has been developing fintech products since 2015, so we can provide you with a team of tech talents who will develop a high-quality banking app that satisfies your target audience. If you want to develop a neobank that will bring humanity one step closer to the bright digital future, visit jatapp.co to learn more about how we work. My name is Eugene. That was just a thought about neobanks. Subscribe to our podcast and see you in the next episode. Bye!